Hello there everybody, this is my Wii Collection. There's quite a few to choose to start with, it's hard to make a selection. Not all of my games are physical copies, out of 61 there's 5 that I bought on the Wii U's eShop and are now on this hard drive. Kirby's Epic Yarn is one, and Kirby's Adventure Wii. One introduces you to Prince Fluff, the other has Waddle Dee. Sin and Punishment Star Successor, it is an on-rail shooter. In Pandora's Tower, a girl becomes a monster, so she isn't looking any cuter. The Metroid Prime trilogy, I missed it back in the day. It launched on the eShop at half price, annoyed some sellers on eBay. Let's move to the physical games. Here is Metroid Prime 3 Corruption. The trilogy makes this one redundant. Oh well, let's move on without disruption. Let's go back to the beginning and show off this Wii Sports. It showed us what the remote could do in games of various sorts. Tennis, baseball, boxing, and golf. But the best was where you could bowl. It became the best-selling game of all time, but only because it came with the console. Several years went by, then they brought out Wii Sports Resort. I also have Twilight Princess and Resi 4, both are updated ports. This was made for GameCube, then brought to the Wii. They didn't release it in a rush. It's not the only game where you play as a wolf, there's also Okami where you have a brush. Metroid Other M, a much hated game. They made Samus all whiny. A new play control, this one is Pikmin, where all the characters are tiny. Here's some rhythm games, I only own few. Here's Beat the Beat Rhythm Paradise. I own 2 Guitar Heroes, Metallica and 3, but I've only played them once or twice. Here is Wii Music, oh where do I start? At E3 they all went crackers. But it's not all bad, in Samba de Amigo you get to shake your maracas. Super Smash Bros. Brawl, a much hyped game and a very enjoyable scrapper. Let's talk about games that use peripherals. Let's start with the Wii Zapper. Link's crossbow training came with the gun. Target practice split into stages. This particular Link doesn't seem too busy. Shouldn't he be out rescuing sages? But that is not all. A few light gun games. House of the Dead Overkill. There's 2 Resident Evil Chronicles. Let's just hope there's no sandwich of Jill. Wii Motion Plus, underused indeed. Motion controls with much more precision. I got Tiger Woods but didn't play it much. Buying that was not the best decision. Red Steel 2, the first may have been bad, but I will send your opinions aloft. For this is much better and controls really well. A great effort by Ubisoft. Though that game used Motion Plus well, we all know what used it best. The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword was much more effective than the rest. Some hated this game, but I loved it. It fueled my Zelda addiction. It had fun controls, dungeons and weapons, but I hated Fee and her stupid predictions. A Mortal Kombat game, Armageddon, where the moves looked really painful. Xenoblade Chronicles eventually came out. Thank you, Operation Rainfall. Mario Kart Wii is a good racing game, although they don't obey any car laws. It's a fun multiplayer and it came with a wheel. Oh, by the way, Lego Star Wars. But that's not the only movie game I own. There's another that's just down there. GoldenEye is a shooter, that's pretty good, but not as fun as the one by Rare. A retelling of the story with Daniel Craig. This one is made by Activision. It was still a good game, but this version is better. Well, they included more missions. There are 3 games in a series I own that I feel I shouldn't gloss over. Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, the long-awaited crossover. They are kind of fun, and it's nice to see these characters all in one place. But there is one thought that's bugging me. How can Mario beat Sonic in a race? Let's look at a game where you point and click and solve puzzles with Zack and Wiki. It could get the crown for most interesting name. A contender would be Epic Mickey. Disney Epic Mickey was a brilliant idea, going into Disney's forgotten history. Sonic and the Secret Rings is sort of on rails. Why they chose to do that is a mystery. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles smash up, overshadowed by Brawl. A lot of people wrote this off as bad, but that isn't the case at all. It's an alright game with the turtles and Ubisoft's really weird bunnies. There's a few manic stages and some good power-ups, but Splinter doesn't make any funnies. Excite Truck was an early game, doing stunts on changing terrain. If you ever see them out on the road, you better keep out the fast lane. Super Paper Mario, a departure from the series, but this is still really fun to play. It has some great humour and artistic design. I'll take this over Sticker Star any day. One highlight of it was Mr. L, who was a mysterious alter ego. Skylanders Superchargers Racing. I only got it for the Bowser amiibo. Spielberg made this game where you throw balls at towers, then you sit and watch those blocks fall. FIFA 09, Mario Strikers Charged, both games involving football. Mario Parties 8 and 9, Mario Sports Mix, both Mario Galaxies, New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Oh, I think I've got my Mario fix. Some people don't like this because the multiplayer's bad, but this I must beseech. It's entirely optional, just play it alone, you'll have a great time rescuing Peach. The Galaxy games are a joy to play, but I doubt you need that much clarity. The varying levels, the fantastic soundtrack, and the amazing designs using gravity. Bully Scholarship Edition, you go back to school, where you go to lessons or fight or take notes. I got Wii Play, so did everyone else. Well, it came with an extra remote. Ghostbusters, using pointer controls, zap ghosts with your Proton Pack. Punch-Out gave the series a glorious return to the joy of the fans of Little Mac. Sonic Colors, what a great game, he faces his adversary. Super Mario All-Stars got a release for the Plumber's 25th anniversary. It does contain 4 amazing games, but it's identical to the SNES. Donkey Kong Country Returns was a joy and was later brought to 3DS. This gorilla was out to stop the bad guys, hypnotizing elephants and giraffes. It had a great challenge and level design. It was simply a barrel of laughs. This snooker game came with a plastic cue, so you could properly pretend. Deadly Creatures is a quirky one, but it's not mine, I borrowed it off a friend. Wario Land's the Shake Dimension. Let's hope he leaves his hat on. And of course there's WarioWare Smooth Moves, where you get to use the form baton. So that's my whole collection. I hope you've had a good time. But wait, there's something just down here. Oh, that's not mine.